know. I'll just like crop it down. Okay, does that work? Okay. I think I'll like set the scene here. Okay, ready? Okay. Good morning, Kelsey. Thanks for coming back today. I really appreciate that you made your appointment with me and that you were able to follow through and come see me again.
No problem.
So we'll just kind of go over a recap. It kind of helps get my brain organized in terms of thinking about what we talked about last week. And then we can kind of look at moving forward and talking about some of the things a little bit deeper and just see where we get in terms of time and also how you're feeling in terms of moving forward. Does that work for you?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So last week you kind of came in and chatted about how you're wanting to make a change in terms of your lifestyle. So the things you kind of talked about were that, you know, balance might be a bit of a challenge sometimes for you, and you know you really want to do well at having the healthy lifestyle in terms of exercise and eating healthy, but sometimes life kind of gets in the way and you know you might be feeling overwhelmed, and when you feel overwhelmed that kind of strays away from that healthy lifestyle. Does that kind of sound familiar in terms of what we talked about, or?
Yeah, no, I think that you wrapped that up pretty well. I find just with school and with my social life and with work, I find usually like going to the gym and eating healthy is sometimes put on the back burner, and I want to try and make that more of a priority in my life, but I am struggling to find the motivation to actually go about doing those things because being lazy sometimes is way easier.
Mm-hmm. Well, I remember too, you kind of talked about how, you know, there's points where you might have an extra half an hour to go and do something, but you know, you just, you know, came home from work and, you know, you just did an assignment and those things, and then you're kind of like, I need to relax. Mm-hmm. So, and I remember you talking about trying to kind of curb that or plan and have that plan for so you can still ensure that you're having that balanced overall feeling in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, awesome. So, kind of moving forward, I'm wondering if you're going to be okay kind of following this kind of method I have in mind to determine our goals and moving forward. And what it's called is a signs of safety or a signs of something framework. So what that means is we kind of look at what's really working well in terms of your life and, you know, the good things in terms of your balanced lifestyle and eating right and getting your exercise and things like that. And then we kind of look at the worries or what's kind of getting in the way of, you know, your goal of having that balanced, healthy lifestyle. And then we kind of compare the two and look at, you know, what works well and what your worries are to determine your kind of goals and how we're going to move forward and, you know, what's going to be put in place to make sure you can kind of start to move towards that healthy lifestyle. So if you're totally game for that, I would love to give it a try. But of course, this is all about you and you're in the driver's seat. So if you're not comfortable with it, we can totally try something else or whatever works for you.
No, that sounds great. I mean, I'm up for anything. Like, I'm game for whatever, so I'm willing to give it a shot. And I mean, it can only improve, right?
Yeah, for sure. And if it's something where if we kind of get going and it's something maybe we're not feeling that is compatible with your life at this time, then we can look at doing something else. It's not something that is stuck kind of in the sand and that we have to follow. Mm-hmm. So it's really versatile in that way. So what we're kind of looking at it today in terms of for you, because it's not that you have any safety concerns, but we're kind of looking at a signs of something, which for you can totally add your ideas as well. But for me, in talking to you from last time, it would kind of look at a signs of a healthy, balanced lifestyle.
Mm-hmm. Sounds great.
Okay, so we'll kind of write that down as kind of our goal of what we want to see in the end. So is there anything else you want to add to that in terms of what you kind of want your final goal to be?
Just kind of balance and being healthier. I mean, yeah, I think just being healthier overall.
Okay, perfect. So let's kind of start I would like to lay the groundwork. I'm just going to flip this over and take some notes on the back while we kind of move forward. But I really want to find out what a healthy lifestyle looks like for you and what that kind of overall picture is, because my idea of what my healthy lifestyle is might be very, very different. So I really want to work to understand what your ideas of a healthy lifestyle are before we kind of move forward, just so I am aware of what you want in your life.
I think my idea of a healthy lifestyle would be kind of balance. Going to the gym maybe 3-4 times a week. I know that like when I do work out, I do find I have a lot more energy. So like having a lot more energy would be great. Like not relying so much on coffee so much, and just kind of going about my day and doing that. Eating right, because I do notice that when I do eat right, I do feel better, and then when I eat kind of garbage, I do feel like kind of bogged down almost, like you're not working as well as you should be, kind of thing. I guess another part would be just finding a healthy balance between like school and work and being healthy, because sometimes if I am out with my friends, or if I am at work and it's late at night, I will snack or things like that. So I want to be able to have the drive and the ambition to tell myself no. I know going to the grocery store sometimes can be a struggle, because if I'm in a rush, or if I just want to pick up something quick for dinner, I usually pick up something that usually isn't as healthy for me. So I guess just like discipline.
Okay.
Discipline and motivation are kind of my driving factors here.
Awesome. So it really sounds like, when you feel like you're balanced, everything is really great, and you're feeling really happy with yourself. When you can make it to the gym those 3 or 4 times a week, when you're eating healthy, you really feel that energy and feel really happy about what you're doing. And you sound really motivated. Is that accurate?
Yeah, it's it's hard because I feel like I know what I want, and sometimes I do find it hard to get the motivation to do it. So I know what I should be doing, I just find it hard to just push myself.
Right, makes sense. So sometimes when you get in that rut and you're not in balance of having that eating right and being at the gym, you start to get bogged down, and it really discourages you in terms of your motivation and moving, kind of climbing back up the wall, so to speak. And sometimes it sounds like that's really hard to get out of. Okay, awesome. So that's really good. I'm glad we could kind of look at what balance looks like, and it sounds like you really want to have the gym, and you want to be eating right, but you also want to still be able to contribute to your work relationships and also your social relationships. Okay, awesome. So we'll kind of move right into our signs of a balanced, healthy lifestyle, and then hopefully we can look at some goal planning as well. So at this point in your life, or you can also think about what has worked in the past. It doesn't have to be right in this moment. But what have you done, or what has a support helped you with that has really worked well in terms of having a healthy lifestyle?
Having a healthy lifestyle. Sometimes like I'll go to the gym with friends.
Okay.
So I find that sometimes my friends can be really great motivators, but then other times they'll be like, oh, let's go out for pizza or this or that. So sometimes that also is my downfall too. So friends and socializing could be both a weakness and a strength for me. What else has worked well for me? I know that when I do, I'll meal plan or do things on Sunday or Monday mornings, I'll say okay, this is what I'm going to eat for the rest of the week. I'll lay it out. I have noticed that in the past that's helped. Again, it's hard with balance, because trying to find the balance to find the time to do that is hard sometimes, because sometimes you have 100 other things on the go and you don't have time to do that. So I guess that goes along with finding more balance in my life. What else has worked well? Kind of keeping a food log of everything I eat.
Okay, cool.
I have noticed that when I write down what I eat and then I look at it, at the end of the day, you're well, I've probably eaten more than I should have. So I noticed that in the past has helped me.
Maybe thinking about it in terms of some supports, are there people, because I know you had mentioned your friends, when you actually do go to the gym and work out, they're a really great support for you, but is there kind of anybody else that has done a really good job at supporting a healthy lifestyle for you, or someone you look up to in terms of who's a good role model for you, or?
My friends are a great motivator, my family as well, they're also a great motivator for me. that's it. Like I have a lot of friends that I might follow on like social media, and they'll post, you know, their workouts or, you know, what they're doing or tips, and I find that as well is a great motivator, because sometimes if I'm feeling like lazy and I don't want to go to the gym, and then I'll see this girl on Facebook and she's working out, I'm like, I should be doing that too.
Which is really interesting, because sometimes social media puts us in another state of mind, or for me it does, because I'll see, you know, someone's relaxing on a patio or whatever, and I'm like, oh yeah, that seems really nice right now. But for you, it's kind of the opposite. When you see someone that's working out and, you know, following a healthy lifestyle that you also want for yourself, you're like, oh, okay, like I think I should go do this too.
Yeah, I mean, of course it works in the other way as well, but I find sometimes when you do see, you know, females and they're like on Facebook or Instagram and they're posting these pictures, and you're like, you know what, like I want that kind of thing, and I need to be working harder to get that.
Right.
So I find that sometimes it is a great motivator for me.
I'm saying it right.
Yeah.
All right, what else? And you can totally like take a minute. You don't feel like you have to answer right away, but if you want to just take a minute and really think about those things that are working well for you, or even in the past, what has worked well for you?
What else has worked well? I think I'm drawing a blank right now. I feel like those are all great. Like my friends, my family, like some of my work. I guess being at work sometimes is a good motivator, because a lot of the kids will want to go for a walk, or they will want to play football or play soccer or play hockey. So I find that being at work and working with young kids sometimes is a good motivator, because they're always going and they're always wanting to do things. So it forces you to be more active. And yeah.
Now, in terms of, I'm just curious for myself, in terms of you working out and, you know, staying physically fit, what does that look like from your perspective?
Do you mean like how often? Like,
not so much how often, but so if I were to say, you know, playing soccer and volleyball and with the kids, you know, does that kind of constitute as a workout, or, you know, something like that? Or because I know sometimes people going to the gym is that's kind of their own, like that's the only kind of regimen they see as being a healthy activity and a healthy lifestyle. Whereas some people, you know, say I go to the gym, but then I'll go for a walk with my dog, and that is also something I, you know, view as a healthy activity.
I think it's a lot, like it's a mixture of a lot of things. Like, yeah, I do want to go to the gym more, and I want to try and make sure that that's more of a priority in my life, but then as well being at work and doing things with the kids and kind of moving around. I think it's really easy to become lazy at work and then just be like, oh, just like go outside without me or whatever. So I think that as long as I'm like moving like frequently, I feel like that's also part, like that's what I would like as well.
Right.
Like being more active at work, because I know that we do a lot of activities at work with the kids, and making sure that I'm speaking up and being a part of these things, even though I might not be amazing at it, doesn't really matter. As long as I push myself, then that's, I feel, more important, just finding that motivator to just get up and get moving.
Right. Okay. So that's really helpful for me, just because I know in terms of like what I think my healthy lifestyle is in terms of activity is, you know, I'm really involved with horseback riding. So for me, I don't as much have to be in a gym to feel like I am, you know, providing that to myself. So I definitely wanted to just check that with you, because we're all very different and have these different regimens, and make sure, you know, that we're following, you know, what you think, and I'm not so much thinking about what I think in terms of having those activity moments. Okay, awesome. So we looked at, you know, work is very motivating because you get to be out with the kids, playing some activities and such. Is there anything else you kind of pulled forward that maybe worked well in terms of having that balance?
No, I feel like that kind of sums it up really well. Just that it's a lot of different things kind of. So I feel like that sums it up pretty well. And
this kind of isn't saying that we could come back and like revisit the working well column. We can always jump back if we kind of, you know, dig through something and find out that, you know, there's more to what's working well for you. So we'll kind of jump on the worries, which is maybe things that, you know, stop you from getting to that healthy lifestyle. It can be a feeling, it can be an action. It can also be other people in your life that maybe contribute to a not so healthy lifestyle in your eyes or things like that.
Okay.
So.
For worries, I would put friends down as worries.
It's also a worry.
Yeah, I mean, they're great motivators, but at times they do not work in my favor, and they'll say, you know, like, oh, skip the gym and come out for a drink, and sometimes my discipline isn't where it should be.
Mm-hmm. So it's very dependent on the situation. It can kind of go either way.
Or my mood. Sometimes if I've had a great day, I'm like, no, like I want to go to the gym, like I want to do this, but sometimes if my day at work wasn't well or I didn't do well on a paper, I'm like, I feel like I could use like a...
So what are those, when you say your mood, what are those moods that you have that create, you know, a worry in terms of that healthy lifestyle? What are the ones that seem to bog you down, as you kind of say?
I guess just if like I've had a bad day, or I feel like I've had like a long day, or, you know, stress, I guess just stressors.
Okay.
Stressors from work, from school. I guess those are my two main ones. So sometimes if I am feeling stressed, then skipping the gym seems like a better option at the time.
Right, for sure. Okay, awesome. So what are some other kind of worries that are present in terms of kind of maintaining that healthy lifestyle?
I feel like work and school, like just stressors in general, like I feel like that could really that is kind of like encompassing a lot of different things, because again, like if I have had a long day at work, like the last thing I want to do is then go to the gym as well. Like sometimes you're so exhausted and you just want to sit down and relax, and you want to kind of give your brain a break. So
so that like mental fatigue as well. So can I add that as a feeling as well, that mental fatigue?
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
What are some other worries? Friends sometimes can be, or I guess it's just...
Is there anything like in the specific environment at like the gym that kind of deters you from doing certain things, or?
Not overly, no. Like I find that my biggest problem is just getting there, because once I'm there, I know I'll work and I'll do what I need to do, but I need to actually get there. But I guess another thing you can put down in the working well is once I am there, there's like a group of people that I always end up meeting, and then we'll always kind of like work out together.
Okay,
so I
cool.
find that that's a good motivator for me as well, is that they're just people that I do work out with at the gym, and we're all kind of friends now, and we joke around, and so that I find very helpful, because it's someone and something to look forward to.
Right, and you can totally correct me if I'm wrong, but they share that same kind of passion as you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is nice. We're all doing the same thing, and then we'll joke around and push each other, and we'll say like, go faster, like just things like that. It's, you know, you get that like healthy competition.
Mm-hmm. And it sounds like it's a really motivating environment,
Mm-hmm.
which is really helpful.
Yeah, it is a really motivating environment for sure.
Okay, awesome. So we'll kind of bounce back to the worries. Any other worries that kind of get in the way in terms of the healthy lifestyle?
Grocery shopping sometimes can be tricky, because like I said, if I didn't leave myself a lot of time and I have to go in and grab like a couple quick things, like sometimes you don't want to sit and prepare, like take half an hour to prepare this huge meal. You want to make something a little bit quicker, or maybe even going through like a drive-through, like fast food.
Okay.
Again, is, you know, it's so much more convenient sometimes.
Yeah. So picking those quick options.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. And then you kind of said too, in terms of kind of aside from grocery shopping, which kind of sounds like a worry to me, and you can totally interject if it's not, but the meal prep side of things, if, you know, you think, you know, I could have chicken and lots of veggies, but, you know, that's a lot of prep after work.
Mm-hmm.
Is that also a worry for you too?
Yeah, no, it is.
Okay.
It's just sometimes time I feel like is a big worry, because, you know, you might not have time to meal prep, or you might not have time to sit and make a big meal after work or whatever else. You just want something easy and convenient, and or I don't have time to go to the gym because I have to do a paper and then I have an exam the next day. So I feel like time is a big thing.
So time. What about the organization side of things? In terms of, organizing that I'm gonna go to work and I have a gym and I have to do this paper somewhere. What's the organization side for you? Is that like a working well or more of a worry in terms of?
I'd say that's probably more of a worry at this point. Sometimes I find I'm really on it and I can organize myself. Like, on Sunday I'll think, okay, I'm gonna go to the gym this day and I'm gonna do my paper at this time. But I find sometimes if I'm not as organized, then it is more of a struggle because then I feel like it kind of throws your week into like a little bit of chaos because you're kind of just willy-nilly,
right.
I guess is the...
So it sounds like you feel you have a plan and you feel really good about the plan, and you feel very motivated once you make the plan, but when the plan kind of goes sour, there's changes that need to be made midweek, it's kind of like a...
Chaos.
Kind of. Okay, so very chaotic if things kind of get off course and there's a lot going on.
Yes.
Okay. And that kind of loops back to time too, right? So organization, in terms of time and planning, especially when life gets a little crazy. And that happens for all of us too, right? Like there's times in my day where, I would like to go get some groceries and, I want to do laundry and then I'm going to work out myself and then I'm like, it's like 3:30 and I haven't worked out yet and supper's on its way, like, life. And it's very chaotic and frazzling for me as well, if that makes you feel any better.
It does.
Awesome. So are there anything else that strikes you as a worry?
No, I feel like you have it down there pretty well. Just kind of stress, like school stress, work stress, time, organization. I feel like those are the big ones.
Okay, awesome. And you have a lot, what's really nice to see is there is a lot that's working well. And what's really awesome is when your working well list is longer than your worry list, because it does make goal planning a bit nicer in terms of, I can use a lot of what's working well to help combat that short list of worries. Now too, as we move forward, what's really kind of cool about this framework is that you can determine if there's more that's working well, or you kind of come about something. You can either, let me know and we can add it, or you can kind of, put it in the back of your brain as something that you might want to really use in terms of moving forward. Perfect. All right. So we're kind of getting close to our time limit here today, but I think what I'd really like to end with in terms of looking at our framework is our next steps. So we can kind of think about those things and, what you would really like to do in terms of moving forward. And then the next time we meet, what we'll kind of do is really narrow those down in terms of what's that going to look like and how am I going to get there. Okay. So when we look at, I'll kind of put in the middle. My writing is very messy. I apologize. So if we look at what's worked well in the past or in the present, and we look at what worries we have, it kind of helps us to determine what our next steps need to be. So, because we're trying to, really minimize our worries so you can have that healthy lifestyle. So is there anything kind of right off the bat in terms of what's worked well, what your worries are, how are you going to get to that healthy lifestyle? What's something you might want to put in place?
Probably my organization is one of the things that I think is like a big kind of like umbrella for a lot of different things. So I feel like if I'm more organized, then I feel like I personally feel like I'm starting my week off better. I feel like I know what I'm going to be doing each day. So I feel like organization is like probably the main thing I should be working on moving forward.
Okay, that's a good one. Big one, organization.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like you have some organizational skills in terms of planning and preparing, but maybe honing in on those times when it gets chaotic, of I'm going to go this route instead of this route. And so we'll put organization as our next step, and then when we meet kind of next week or whenever we get to meet next, we'll look at what do we need to do in terms of that organization. Okay? So what kind of else do you think is something you need to do to get closer to that healthy lifestyle?
Organization is probably one. I guess finding like a healthy outlet if I am feeling stressed or exhausted, like something I can do besides maybe going for a drink or going for something to eat. Like I could find something else to do, like maybe going for a walk around my neighborhood for a while and just kind of like de-stress myself, because sometimes it is really easy to just like go for a drink or just watch TV when there probably is healthier, more effective things to be doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So finding those healthy alternatives.
Yes.
Okay. And then we could look at doing maybe 3 goals for this week. And then we'll really hone in on, how we're going to do that and what we're going to use in terms of our tools to get there.
Okay.
So what kind of would be our 3rd and final big goal?
Maybe continue logging some of my food. So I don't know if you maybe put that under organization, or maybe put kind of keeping, like, I have noticed that if I keep like a food journal or a food log or whatever, I have noticed that has helped.
Right.
Because then it makes me more aware of what I am eating.
So maybe it's about in terms of, really honing in on the food side of things. Because I know too, you've talked about in your worries about grocery shopping and planning and meal prep and all of those things, and then working well as used a food log. So is it about maybe finding or working towards having a good routine in terms of, food prep, consumption, and planning?
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know if that would fit under organization. I feel like everything kind of fits under organization at the end of the day.
Yeah, it does, but I think we can make it kind of its own, because we really want to hone in, or it sounds like we really want to hone in on like the grocery shopping, meal planning, and logging piece.
For
so
sure.
I think the food organization can be its own,
yeah, for sure,
kind of thing, and then it moves in under organization as a whole and getting those pieces very together.
Sounds great.
Okay, so we'll kind of do food organization in terms of prep, planning, and consuming, really. Okay, awesome. All right. So how do you feel about this?
I feel better already. It's nice to see like what I have noticed in the past working well. Like once you see it on paper and you can see what you have done well in the past, then you're like, oh, okay, like I should continue pursuing those avenues instead of like jumping to the worries and like just saying like, oh, I'm too stressed, I don't have time, blah, blah, blah. Like you can think about like, oh, in the past I have done this and it has worked, so I need to revert back to what has been working.
And this approach too is I find it to be such a strength-based approach, and we're not just focusing on what the worries are in your life and all of those pieces. We're really looking at what's worked well and how do we support what's worked well to help those worries or challenges we're facing. So it's something I really like to use with kind of anybody I work with, but and it's it is nice to see it kind of on paper and feel really good about yourself in some avenues, and also have an idea of where you're gonna move forward, which is really nice. Great. So you've worked really hard today. It is a lot of brain work to kind of dig into those things, and I think you've done a really, really great job in determining what's worked well and what are your worries, and you've been really honest with yourself and with me moving through, and I think we have some great steps moving forward, and I'm really excited to see how we get deeper into our next steps in terms of helping you find that balanced kind of lifestyle that you're after. Awesome. So we'll kind of look at where we can move next week and have a meeting together, and maybe you can give me a call and let me know what your schedule looks like.
Sounds great.
Okay, awesome.
Thank you.
I thought it stopped recording.